Well, welcome everyone. We're excited that everyone's here today, and I'm excited to be hosting the Q&A with the devs here. Maybe we have some folks who are new. Shampoo, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, so hello, I'm Shampoo, the lead developer of WalkScape, or the only developer of WalkScape, and also the CEO of the company that we made for this game, not a cult. And yeah, I'm the snail as well.
Awesome, thanks. And Max Chill,
Hello,
how you doing today?
everyone. I'm doing good. Some of you might have seen me or heard me here on the weekly streams, but those who haven't, hi, I'm Max Chill, the artist, and all kinds of other things, often not a cult, that's working on the Walkscape over a year now. Hi, everyone.
Awesome, and I'm Flower Sifter. I sort of fill in the gaps in places that the team needs me. So I've been doing all sorts of stuff from community management to some balance work on the game. So it's been fun.
Floor Safeter has been doing everything. Apart from
Yeah.
art and code, anything that's not art and code can be done by Floor Sifter.
The Swiss Army knife of WalkScape.
Exactly. Oh no, we're getting CYOA discussion bait in the chat.
Yeah.
I've fallen for it again.
We're gonna actually on Choose Your Own Adventure. It's gonna get buffed up after the release. First of all, we decided I'll probably wrap up the Galeforge story in one longer post so we can start fresh, and we'll probably do another Gervonian or Grand Duchy story because those are going to be the areas which will be available to players right from the start.
Awesome. Heard it here first. Sweet. How we've organized the questions for today's stream is sort of questions that are more looking towards the past first, and then we'll talk more about like the launch and some of our expectations, and then sort of questions that are looking more into the distant future of the game we'll cover towards the end. So Shampoo will probably start off with the first question here, which is, what games did you play throughout your life that have inspired different parts of WalkScape?
All right, so well, the first biggest one that has worked as an inspiration is, of course, RuneScape. Most people familiar with the game probably already know this, and that has been a game that I have played a lot. I think I started playing RuneScape back in like 2008 or 2007. Not entirely sure, but also like one of the games that I recently love to play are more like relaxed and cozy games. So those have also, I'd say, played some part here. So like games like Stardew Valley and Roots of Pacha and others that have been released farming games, and they have been like more recent addition. Of course, I've played like hundreds of games during my life, but those are probably the ones that are affecting WalkScape most.
Awesome. And Max Chill, just a few months ago, after one of the first conventions, I know that there was a change sort of in the world map for the game, in the art. Can you talk about sort of the inspiration for that change and how it was like working on the map?
Oh yeah, definitely. So the map change comes from the original map, which is available and will be always available, as the original reference was made by Shampoo. But it was I always liked Shampoo's attention to geographical detail because I'm not a world builder, so I only had to work off his work. But so decision to go for the pixel art map, which is a lot more colorful, and has a lot more detail was mainly right before right about that we wanted to show different biomes to better like depict the difference between regions. And also I guess, well, my I never really played RuneScape, but I was a World of Warcraft player, and there the zones were really like different from each other, and that also comes as inspiration to make all the regions feel as their own aesthetic and style and things in them.
What was your favorite region to work on so far for the map?
I really like Rentmark because I'm not the usual fan of like desert settings, but in this scenario, maybe also because it's one of the smallest ones, so it's easier to fill a small region than a large one. But no, I kind of like to make the cacti and some desert theme stuff. I'm hyped when it will get added like to the game and mechanics wise.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm so excited as well.
I also think, like, looking at the new map, Redmark is definitely one of my favorites there. I also like Jarvonia. It also, I think it looks really cool right now in the map
Well,
and has a lot
Gervonia,
of details.
it reminds us of home, being Northerners.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. The next one is from Sable on Discord, who is one of our Earth Day participants. Shampoo, what are some of the differences to how you initially imagined WalkScape compared to what it looks like today?
Yeah, the initial idea for WalkScape was just I've mentioned somewhere that the like original inspiration game, where a lot of the mechanics uh, might be inspired from, is actually a game called Amaranthine, which is kind of like Malware Idol, but MMO one, and it's still actually available. But I imagined like that game, but a one that you could progress with steps, and then the kind of mechanics started to come together that you could like use steps as the currency instead of time, and that would pretty much that could be translated to work well. And so that was the original idea, and I don't think that that has actually changed that much. Uh, like the idea how I set it up in the like, if you go back and look at the original dev blogs from like a year ago, uh, not much has actually changed in the meantime. There are some minor mechanics that have changed, mainly the this was actually in the crossword puzzles as well, but the materials in the game was something that I have iterated a lot on. So first you could get like three different tags on each material, but now it's only that you can get fine materials. Like small things has changed, but the main idea and how I imagined it has been pretty much the same from the beginning.
I think from my perspective, one of the small things that I've seen changed was that early on there was like a chance to fail most actions.
Oh yeah, that one too. Like I think we had it in some of the earlier builds, but it just didn't feel good, and it also introduced that you a problem where you weren't able to like predict how many steps something is going to need when you have a random chance of failure. So then I just thought that okay, this needs to go. But that has
Exactly. Yeah,
been
I think
a major change, definitely.
I think now the game feels, on the whole very predictable. Like you kind of know, oh, I need to go do 8,000 steps to do X. And you know that that's pretty much right. So I like that now. Next question. We can start with Max Chill on this one. What's been the hardest part of the art to implement for you?
This is an easy question because the hardest part has been the profile pictures because they look good in my opinion, but they are underneath. There's a quite complex system of how they are arranged. It was I think we made them at like summer, early summer, and it was a month of a lot of headache to figure out how to do all the layers, and also decisions as having different expressions for the characters because we will also use them later in the quest systems or in dialogues. They'll be able to change the expressions, so add make the dialogue more lively. And so there was making the characters was like it included a lot of like long-term planning. So hopefully I've made my life easier in future by investing quite a lot of time of making the character pictures. And we're also still like I'm still adding this day new character options because of the cult follower and leader perks on Patreon. People are sending some new hats and new options will be available at launch, which will be a surprise to everyone.
Awesome. And Shampoo, for you, what's been like the hardest game system to work in?
Um, at the moment, mostly that comes to my mind are some of the recent problems that I had. So the first one that comes into mind, where you also have some of the first-hand experience, is the iOS step counting. That was actually a pretty tough one to solve because there were like a lot of platform-specific stuff that needed to be done, and it needed a lot of iteration to get it right. And also another recent addition that was pretty massive to implement was the over-the-air system to the game, where we can now send content updates to the game without the players needing to actually update the game, like from the app stores or whatever. So the game will automatically download new content and then apply it to the game, which makes it a lot smoother. From purely gameplay perspective, I think the traveling mechanic has probably been the most complex of them all because there are a lot of smaller things in the traveling mechanic that need to be accounted for. So that has been pretty complex.
Sure, and I'm totally there with you with the iOS stepping. Just for some background for the community that isn't aware, most of the game's been developed in Flutter, which usually makes it very easy to publish on iOS and Android. There are parts of WalkScape that interact with the operating system, such as the step counting, that were quite tricky to work out back a couple months ago. But we got there, which is exciting.
Yeah, and huge thanks to Floor Shifter, who actually pretty much single-handedly tested all of the iOS platform-specific functions, such as the step counting. So that was a huge help because I actually didn't own an iPhone, so I couldn't test it myself.
I think I was adding up last night, and I think I've put about 2 million steps into testing the game, and I think about half of those may have been eaten very early on in testing. So just some fun stats. Cool. I think that's most of the questions we had on the past, so we can go ahead and move towards launch. Do we have any notes that we can share on the release timing?
Yeah, so this is probably the thing that most people want to hear. So tomorrow, around 17 to 18 UTC plus 0, I will be putting up the release blog post on both Portal and Reddit, and that will have a lot of important information. So please make sure you read it, because there will be a lot of important stuff that people who will be joining the test need to read it, such as how to install the game. And from the moment that the post is up, you will be able to download the game, but there will be a maintenance mode put on the game, so you cannot log in or play the game yet. So you will have some time to download it before we launch it, and the launch will be at 20:00 UTC plus 0. So that's when the maintenance mode will be lifted off and you can start playing it.
Awesome. Just let us know if you have any questions in the chat based on that information. But hopefully that's very clear. Expectations for tomorrow. So thanks for that info, Shampoo. Okay, we have a few just quick fire general questions that we've seen on Reddit and the portal. Will there be a friend system at launch so we can track each other's progress? Shampoo, do you want to?
Yeah, this was actually something that I really wanted to implement, but we didn't find enough time to implement it for the initial launch. The initial launch only has the leaderboards right now as a multiplayer system, and you can find your friends from there. But it's not perfect, I would say, to find your friends from there by browsing it. But the friend system is actually something that we will probably be focusing on in one of the first few patches that we will be doing to the game. It's mechanically not that hard to implement, but just didn't have enough time here before the launch to add it in.
Sure, and I think the overall feel is right now the game, there's been a lot of investment in it feeling like an RPG. And, in some of the first few patches here after release, we want to invest a lot more into like the MMO aspects. So you can expect more things besides friends were to interact with other people in the game in various ways.
Yeah, definitely. And the good thing is that now that we only kind of have the leaderboards, is that we can have more data on how we should do the MMORPG stuff without going bankrupt with it, because there is a very big risk when launching a game and we haven't been able to do these kind of massive tests where we have almost 1,000 player accessing it out all at once, so we can more clearly see how we can implement those without the server costs getting out of hand. So that's also a great resource we have now that we didn't have during the alpha.
Okay, another very common question we've seen is, will I be able to play the game without a steady internet connection?
Yeah, so this is going to be specified more in tomorrow's post, and it was a pretty difficult decision to make. But to play the game, you will need internet connection in the online mode, so we can validate that you have the most recent version of the game. So you can't play on older versions where it would be possible to use older exploits that have been fixed on the new versions and such. So we had to implement a check that you have internet connection when you have the game open and play it. But still, you can walk and gain your steps without an internet connection. So the way that we have designed this game is that you don't need to open it at any point while you are walking. You just open it when you get back home. So not possible to open it up and interact with it while you don't have an internet connection, but you can still go for a walk and get those steps in without having any kind of connection.
Sure, exactly. So say like I'm at home, I choose to smelt all my bronze bars, and it tells me, oh, you need 10,000 steps for that. Then I can go and walk around during my day and check on my progress on that when I'm back. Sort of idea.
Yep.
And of course, like, if you have cell service anywhere, you actually don't need a very strong connection to play the game at all. There's a lot of places near me that have fairly poor internet connection while I'm out and about, and I can play the game in almost any of them, versus I can't like even open Discord in those moments. So even a weak
Yeah,
signal goes a long way.
yeah. The game is very light in terms of how much data it uses. It doesn't need much. It only wants to basically validate that you are playing on the correct version, which is very little. Also, the cloud saving that takes a little bit more, but that's not that frequent, so doesn't also need too much data.
Cool. For the next question, we have someone asking about if you need to be physically near others to play the game with them in like the future MMO features.
Yeah, so this has been also a design thing, and also it's a privacy thing. So if we wanted to implement such feature, it would mean that we need to use the GPS location to know where you are, so we can see who you are with. And I think from privacy standpoint, that's not going to be implemented to the game. I don't want to handle that private data, and I don't think the players also would want to share that with us, because it is there are many examples of companies using it wrong way, although we wouldn't use it, but there's always the risk, and I don't want to do that. But and I think also doing mechanics like that will be limiting for those kind of players who want to be able to play with their friends who are living far away from them. So I think it makes more sense that you can play with your friends that are in same in-game locations with you, but you don't need to physically be near them. So yeah.
Exactly. I think that's what most of the people that I've seen asking this question ultimately want. And I think one of the biggest strengths of WalkScape at the end of the day, right? I can be playing with someone on the other side of the world, and I can be doing my grocery shopping, and they can be stepping on their treadmill watching a movie in the nighttime. So awesome.
Yeah, well put.
Sweet. I think we'll move on to a question from Weasel, one of our supporters on Discord. What parts of the closed beta test are you each most looking to hope see come from it? I'm sorry, that was quite confusing. But what's the part of the closed beta test that we're most looking forward to? Do you want to see like the data from it, the bugs that show up, the memes that people paste?
Uh,
Max Chill, let's start with you.
I of course want to see people use the character maker and just see what kinds of characters people are going to when making theirs, and yeah, that's what I want to see because it feels like it should be quite large. So I want to see the diversity possibilities, because while clicking random and checking with this what you get is one thing, but I want to also see what real people make with it.
Awesome. And Shampoo, how about for you?
I'm probably like I don't think there is a single developer who likes to see bugs, but of course those are very important, and we want to get them all fixed. But I'm mostly terrified about it. Not that like looking forward to it. But the data part is probably very interesting. Like, and one thing that wasn't mentioned there, I'm very interested to see like different types of metas that people will be coming up with, like different guides or strategies that they will be coming up with while playing the game. And also character builds. I'm very interested to see what kind of items they will be using, and what kind of stuff they are doing with those to kind of min-max the game.
Sure. Yeah, I think I'll agree with Shampoo here. I've been pretty active in discussing different metas for training skills and things in the alpha community so far. That's sort of my favorite part of games is, figuring out what the best methods are and the most efficient path to get to those. We also made just 2 weeks ago a decision to add like 100 new items to the game to the chest loot pools, which I think has really diversified the options for those builds, as Shampoo alluded to just now. So I think we're excited to see what players do with those new items.
Yeah, I agree. Currently, it's only guides that exists are made by Floor Sifter. I want to see some theory crafters rival him.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see too if people can beat for follower shifters metas that he has put up to and guides.
Sure, I will say that, I may be 2 million steps into the game, but I'm still learning new methods just about daily from chatting with folks. So I'm sure having 800 eyes on the game is going to produce some very interesting paths. Okay, next question. This is a quick one. We'll just go around. What's your bet for how long it will take the first person to enter the Grand Duchy of Trellin Erdwise? So for those that aren't exclusive channel folks who support us on Patreon or BMAC, you may not know this, but the Grand Duchy will not be accessible on day one until you unlock something. So Shampoo, what's your guess in number of days for the first person to enter the Grand Duchy?
Well, I don't want to get. I don't want that anyone is going to walk so much that they will hurt themselves. But I think someone will be going absolutely nuts about this and will be able to reach GDTE in, I'd say, like 3 days.
Okay, 3 days.
Wow.
Max Chill,
No,
what do
no.
you got?
I'll go for the route that everyone is sane and not making 100,000 steps a day, and I'll give a week for this.
A week?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go for. I think 3 days is right, but I'll go 4
Okay.
just to make it interesting.
Now you know about some strategies that I don't.
Yeah, I think players can do it in 3 without going completely overboard. Um, but let's see. All right, next one's for Max Chill. Max Chill, what was your favorite item and PFP option to make the art for?
Wow, that's a very big list. It's hard to tell. I think I most enjoy working on the or cult follower Patreon supporter suggestions because uh, in art, when making art, I always love if I don't have to think what I have to make, that somebody else does it and I can just like recreate it or make what they want. And through the cult supporters, they always suggest things that I wouldn't have thought of, and so we're gonna have quite diversified stuff right at the start because we have, for example, some magical smoke coming out of the eyes. That's funny to me because we have so many like regular options, and then there's a bunch of like very exclusive options right from the start. I'm interested to see if people will go for those. So yeah, I really like to work on the funky stuff that people suggest. I,
Awesome.
I think if I had to choose one piece, it's the beard. Those who will make characters with facial beards, you'll probably get which one I mean because while we don't have the dwarf race in the game yet, the making the epic beard which was submitted by a Patreon, just gave me a vision how to do dwarfs later.
That's definitely one of my favorite facial hair options right now.
Yeah, I need to say also that after that beard option was added, I've been using it every single time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Next question is from Pi on Discord, who's a supporter. Thank you, Pi. What types of players do you envision playing WalkScape, and do you have any plans to balance the game around a specific level of walking? And for example, will there be diminishing returns to steps at a certain point? Shampoo, do you want to take this first, and then I can share some thoughts?
Yeah, sure. I think Floor Shifter, when it comes to like health research things, he's the like master. But how we've currently tried to do is that kind of works for all amounts. You will always feel progressing in the game, regardless of how many steps you do. But it's mostly balanced around doing like you will feel that you will get a lot of progress, and you will get a lot of dopamine from doing like I'd say 6 to 7,000 steps per day. That's like what we mostly expect players to do, and try to use that as the general average.
Sure. I think overall, we do want to sort of align the incentives in game for what's happening in like the health research world. There's a really fascinating study put out last summer by the European Journal of Preventative Cardiology that if you're sort of interested in the health benefits of walking, you should definitely check out. But what they found is that there's basically no limit to how much you can walk and the increase of benefit that has on your heart health and many other health risks across the spectrum. Um, I think overall, what we would like to do for this is to just iterate in the closed beta test with a few different systems for can we bring the first 3,000 or 5,000 steps every day that people are doing, and boost those up to reduce the spread between them and like people who are stepping a ton, like 30 or 40,000 a day, versus like bringing those high steppers down. We'll try a few different systems and see how they feel. But right now, just expect your progress to be fairly linear with steps. And again, like you'll get a lot more of those very cool moments as you start hitting towards 7,000 steps a day when you start getting like a chest every day and stuff. So that's my views. Any other
Yeah,
comments?
I also like think that, and this is what has been brought up by the community many times, is that they would like to have some kind of diminishing rewards for high steppers, or a buff for those who do smaller steps per day. But this is like also not really hard to implement mechanically, but it's mostly like a design thing that we need to be very careful about, because I think for these kind of mechanics, they need to be balanced around actual like health recommendations, and they need to be fair, so that in a way that I see them like as stuff that also motivates people who do smaller steps per day to increase their daily amount, while also closing the gap between those that do a ton of steps per day between the people who do very little per day. So I think those are like the main design points that we want to hit with this mechanic when we get to design it fully.
Yep, totally. So just expect to see maybe a few different systems here at some point as we get into the closed beta. and we're definitely happy to take feedback on how those feel. And great, I think we can move on to the next question. Let's go through our favorite skills or activities that are in game. Max Chill, what is yours?
My favorite skill activity is the foraging, because from foraging you can get the funniest slash shittiest chest, which is the egg nest. And when you open the egg nest, you're surprised you don't even get an egg, but you get berries. So I really love that the egg nest shoots up the eggs and and berries pop out.
Oh, the bird's nest. What an
Yeah,
idea.
bird's nest is the greatest thing.
Shampoo, how about yourself?
For me, it's actually like I know Flower Stifter will probably disagree here a lot, but foraging is also my favorite for some weird reason. I just like um, the idea of it kind of and how diversified things it can do. Like there's the litter looting, and there is also like the wilderness foraging and cliff foraging. And well, I like plants overall, so it's my favorite definitely.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree here a little bit. Um, I think crafting is my favorite. I just like going for those better tool rolls, and sort of incrementally upgrading my gear that way. Um, for me, that's the most rewarding skill, I think. Um, but wow, 2 foragings on the call. That's that's wild. I hope people are excited for foraging in game. It is fun.
Yep.
Um, all right, next question. How many steps would it take to get the max level on everything and every skill in the game?
Yeah. The balancing that we are aiming for is that it takes around or a little bit over 1 million steps per one skill to max it, and there are currently 9 skills in the game, so it would take 9 million steps to max everything in the game. But it's actually a lot more at this point because the activities that are in the game are only to level 50. So you will be seeing your progress slowing down at the later levels a lot after hitting that content limit. But yeah, it's going to be. It depends on how many skills there are in game, but the general design kind of we have is that we want to balance it to be around 1 million steps per skill.
Sure, and specifically that's for like the most efficient meta for the skill and like being able to afford all the best gear for the skill and the best tools. I think players will find that their first skills that they're working on are a lot slower. But once you sort of progress and gain some gear in the game that you can trade with other players to get good gear to continue training other skills efficiently, you'll get more closer to that sort of 1 million steps per 99 over time. When I think the other general balance philosophy is that as the required skill level for the activity increases, so does the XP that you receive from the skill. So this is why that when we're focusing on level 50 content for the closed beta test, things will be quite slower overall in terms of pushing to 99 in a skill.
Yeah, and I think in general you will find that the first, kind of like in RuneScape, so the first skill you will be maxing is going to take a lot longer than the rest of them because uh, you don't have as much money in the game and so on to like buy gear from other players to and the most optimal like crafting materials or whatever to do the most efficient thing. So it might be a lot more than 1 million steps for the first one, but when you can start min-maxing things, that's when you will hit the 1 million pretty easily.
Sure. I'm excited to see the race to the first level 99 in-game.
Which skill do you think it will be?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Shampoo, what do you think?
First skill. I'm pretty sure it will be. Well, I'm not actually sure. Well, I'll think it's. I think it's gonna be crafting.
As first 99?
That's a wild guess.
yeah, it's a wild guess, but maybe crafting.
I'll go for woodcutting.
Okay.
Yeah, well, woodcutting is the safe bet.
It's definitely the safe bet. I think I know the answer, so I will disqualify myself from taking a guess and bet in this conversation.
Floor Sifter is just going for the first 99, I see.
Yeah, he already knows
it's
what he's going
probably
for.
not woodcutting or crafting.
Yeah.
Shampoo, do you want to remind folks kind of about that
Oh
competition?
yeah. So what we have is that the first player to hit 99 on any skill, I will be personally mailing them a cape.
Nice.
So anyone who hits that, we will
this is
send you a cape.
perfect
Cape.
perfect announcement to get someone injured, I think.
Yeah, there is a disclaimer. If you injure yourself, you will be disqualified.
Nice.
Awesome. I think that'll be really exciting for players. And just to let players know, anyone who's touched the game in alpha or before release here is not eligible for that competition. So you won't be racing me.
Well, you can race, but you can't get the cape.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I think now we can move into the third section here, which is more looking towards the future of the game. I think we have some more rapid fire questions here. First one's maybe not so fast.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Shampoo, can you just give a quick overview of the monetization?
Yes,
players can
yeah.
expect?
So this has been up in the or frequently asked questions on website and on Discord. But the current plan we have for monetization is that it's going to be a monthly subscription, affordable monthly subscription for the online mode, and single purchase for the offline mode. And the thing that we are very strict about is that we do not want to ever introduce microtransaction or advertisements for this game, which is the way that mobile games usually monetize themselves. But I see those methods as predatory and not nice. So we are choosing to take this different path for the monetization. And also, one thing that has been brought up by the community has been having an option for like eternal, forever subscription. That would be like one-time purchase. And I've been now considering it, and I'll be considering it even more. But it would probably be something that would help us to kind of fund this earlier part of the development. So I'll need to think about it more. That if it's an option that we could do. But ultimately, our goal is to like get the company in such state that we can support this development for long. So we need to come up with something that works.
Awesome. Another common question I've seen here, Shampoo, is people discussing like trading or selling game membership in game for gold. Do you have like a stance on if that's going to be possible or not in WalkScape?
My answer generally to this is going to be no. There is games that have similar mechanics, and they have been quite heavily criticized. So I'm not sure if that's something we would like to do. But if the players would see it as something that they would like to see in the game, then sure, we can add it. But my personal take is that it might not be good.
Awesome. I think that's a clear answer, and I think that's what a lot of people that I've seen asking this question, what their view is as well. All right, next question. Will closed beta progress carry over to the live game?
And this is another no. So the closed beta progress will not carry on to the open beta. This is mainly because, well, the balancing and economy of the closed beta will be kind of all over the place because we do not have enough resources to do like a lot of like internal testing on this before the release. So we will need to wipe the closed beta before we move to the open beta. But when we are at that point with the economy and so forth, the open beta progress is something that we will not be wiping as long as it's like not like super like something breaks entirely and we must do it, or then we can also do a rollback at that time, which we would probably prefer over a wipe. But on closed beta you can expect that the characters will be gone, but we have also been thinking of making the closed beta characters to be offline characters after the closed beta, so you could still keep playing with those if you want, or just keep them as a memory after the closed beta is over, because in the offline mode they will not be affecting the economy of the game, so we don't really care about that. But I think it would be nice for the players that they can still keep playing with it, or at least have it there so they can go and pay respects to their old characters that are now gone from the online game.
Sweet. For the next question, and I know that the team is going to work on a new roadmap here soon. Looking forward, is there like a tentative release date or month or quarter for open beta and release at this point?
Yeah, so the open beta, this will be specified, the roadmap and so forth will be more specifically addressed in tomorrow's blog post. But about the open beta release date, I don't want to make any guesses at this point that when we will be going for it, because a lot of things can now change when we start the closed beta, like how much feedback we are getting, and when we implement the player-to-player trading, then we will see like how much we need to balance the economy to make it work and so forth. So it could take less than what my guess right now would be, or more than what my guess would now be. So
Sure.
I wouldn't be making any guesses on that right now, but it will be specified when we have more clear idea when we can do it.
Awesome. So yeah, look forward for that roadmap soon. We're going to try to be as specific as we can, but there's a lot of features that the team wants to build in to WalkScape. So I think it's mostly based on those feature timing. All right, next, what future mechanic are you looking forward to the most? Let's start with shampoo.
Okay, so I'm a kind of a little bit like niche player probably here, but my most forward, and maybe I'll look this from the developer point of view as well, but my favorite future mechanic will definitely be the quest mechanic, and overall having a story in the game. That's the thing that I'm personally looking most forward to. And another thing, probably the trading, because that's just interesting to see. I'm usually in MMOs. I'm not a like economy player, but I think here it's going to be very interesting to see because I don't think there are any games where your physical exercise is kind of converted into uh, like virtual currency that you can trade with other players. It's going to be interesting to see how that translates into uh, when people can actually trade with each other. Like, what's going to be the price of everything?
Awesome. Max Chill, what are you looking forward to the most?
I'm looking for those mechanics which add gameplay that is not tied to walking. So either I know or foreseeable future something like farming, in which will work in a slightly different way, or even further down the road combat, because um, of course my main part is the walking part, but I also want to have the option to, after for example I go for a walk and when I come back I sit down on couch, I would like to keep on playing the walkscape, so to speak, use what I earned while I was walking.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to just say here that the combat mechanic is also something I forgot about it when I answered, but it's also for me just for that same reason because I think it's essential that you also get rewarded with something else, such as playing the combat mechanic and having combat progression when you get back home and want to do some more playing in the game. And so that's also something I'm really looking forward to. And combat mechanics, usually they are fun to design and fun to work on. So it's also an interesting thing.
Awesome. I think for me, I'm very excited for things to do in game that are sort of higher step requirements. You know, like maybe going and doing a skilling boss or something that requires many thousands of steps to like complete every time and try to roll for rare loot sounds like very interesting to me. Um, versus like the normal actions that, you know, you're getting a log every 50 steps or an ore. Um,
Yeah,
I think that would be exciting.
I also see that the part you reminded me about the group content. Be it doesn't matter if it's player versus player or cooperative one. I think that I don't know, slaying dragon together with someone by I don't know, gathering steps together is I think pretty cool. It also I can see how WalkScape easily like incites some competition because during alpha testing, me and Shampoo have had races from time to time, and it's always very exciting to have a beef with someone and try to beat them in steps. So for a week and so on. But well, it will be even cooler when you can do it and also get some bonuses in game or objectives, stuff like that. Currently, you can just do it for fun.
Sweet. I'm very drawn to the group content in general, sort of with the example that I provided earlier, where you know you can playing the game, and I can be at the grocery store shopping and playing the game, and someone else can be on the other side of the world, like walking in a park or walking their dog. Um, it's very easy to sort of play the games with others when you don't have to be sitting in front of a computer, um, clicking the screen. Looks exciting.
Yep, I think like one of the major draws in WalkScape for some people, especially like busier adults, is that uh, what we are going for is like a MMO experience that doesn't need you to sit on a front of PC. So it fits all kinds of lifestyles. Like you get steps throughout your day and get progress in the game, and when you can do group content with other people, but you don't need to spend that much time on it when you don't have that much time. So I think it's a really interesting part here that it offers the same kind of fix but in a different way where it encourages activity and enables you to play it even while you're busy.
Yeah, I'm also interested in how it will play out. That usually in MMOs or most of the games, the best players are the ones that spend most time while playing the game at their computer. But this game is gonna be some the best players are gonna be the ones that are getting the steps throughout the day, and it's also there's I see many different player groups. There's gonna be people who just naturally get steps, for example, because of their job, and then there's gonna be players who have to specifically go out and walk, and they will all be competing together.
Yep, I've got a lot of messages from people who work in like warehouses and in hospitals that they're getting already a lot of steps. So they will be some people to look out for in the leaderboards.
Yep.
Definitely. Next question is from Majestic Mint on Discord, one of our cult leaders. They're saying an early congratulations on the launch, and they are very interested to hear the initial concept for the combat system and where it was inspired from for the game.
Yeah, so although I actually forgot to say this in my inspiration games, but we are actually going for kind of non-RuneScape inspired combat system here. Because for me, the combat system in RuneScape hasn't ever been something that I've been like very keen on. It's not that good in my opinion. But so what we are going for is more like a JRPG style of combat. That's at least the plan now. So you can expect something that is turn-based and more like strategic. Sorry, I probably botched. That's a hard word to pronounce, but that kind of combat mechanic is something that we are currently looking at. But it will still have, at least in my current draft for the design, it's something that you also like. It has inspiration from RuneScape that you will still have like let's say strength level and dexterity level and accuracy level maybe, and those are the things that you will be grinding and leveling up through walking, and they will play a big part in the combat mechanic. But then you also have like these kind of jobs or like professions in combat, like you might be a warrior or a thief, and those are that you grind through the combat mechanic itself, but not by walking. So it kind of combines the two and rewards for you to playing with the combat mechanic and rewards you but when you do walking.
Sure. So level up the stats through walking, level up the jobs through grinding the combat.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Sounds like a fun system to try out. Okay, last question in this section of the stream is from Kyojin on Discord, one of our supporters. They were asking if there are any plans or thoughts around seasons or leagues within WalkScape, or some sort of like reset content to give people who join way later in the development a way to compete on equal footing. There's a lot of ARPG games like Path of Exile or the recent league system on RuneScape that sort of does this, where they change some of the mechanics around and sort of reset the game periodically. Do you have any thoughts on that, like long term in WalkScape?
Yeah, I've been actually thinking like I think where Kyojin is going for here is like that you need to create a new like seasonal character. Oh wait, that's also character. now I've tried to learn
Nailed
that
it.
word.
Nailed it.
Yeah, and that's something I've been wondering about because it's always fun to like have these periodic servers where the economy restarts and so forth. But yeah, I haven't really thought about that so much yet, but I think it might be an interesting thing to do. And like we all already have the infrastructure to support it, because you can create as many characters as you want with your account. So you could just choose the league or season that you would want it to be in, and would be pretty simple to implement. But what we have is a league system in the leaderboards, but it's not implemented yet, but it's already there and designed. So that will be something that will rank you with players that walk similar amounts as you do. So it's basically a leaderboard system that gives you the opportunity to be competing against other people that are walking similar amounts as you do. And that also resets, like, I think we have currently thought that it resets every 2 weeks. So you will have like these 2-week competitions to compete with people who walk similar amounts. Because the inherent problem with the leaderboard is that it's going to always favor the players who started early and those who like walk a lot. So in my mind, the league system will be something that helps everyone to find something fun to compete in.
Awesome. Yeah, I've heard a bunch of different sort of ideas discussed in the community for those longer, like seasonal leagues. Like something I would find really cool would be some sort of league where you can only do a certain number of steps on the account per day. So say like you can only do 7,000 steps on the account every day. And so it's more about planning your route efficiently and stuff versus it'd be more like a test of meta understanding and game knowledge than pure amounts of stepping. Or like a league where, like, if there was a system where you could choose between having free travel, so like there was 0 steps between locations, and infinite gold in the game, what would you choose, Shampoo, out of those options?
Infinite gold versus free traveling. I assume here that the infinite gold wouldn't be on player-to-player market, so I would probably choose unlimited travel, because travel is quite important in the game, and not needing to do that would be kind of strong.
Sure. Yeah, I think that, there would be a lot of methods that people would find for the gold as well. There's just a lot of useful or like interesting choices to make in those sorts of systems. So something we'll think about in the long term.
Yeah, and having these kind of special leagues or seasons where you, what you just suggested, the having these kind of weird rules there, that would be pretty cool, I think.
Sweet. So I think that wraps up most of our pre-stream questions. We've had a few that I've grabbed from the chat that we can quickly go through. First one was, what are your favorite flavors of numbers go up? Do you like damage, money, skill levels? What's your preferred one, Max Chill?
It's not the money. I'm always very bad with money in games. Not the well, and I guess skill levels are my favorite thing to level up, uh, especially because you level up the skill, you unlock a new thing you can do with it, and yeah, I like the progression of leveling up skill, unlocking something new to do, and doing that, and so forth.
Awesome. And Shampoo, how about for yourself?
Yeah, for me, it's skill levels, definitely. That's the thing in RuneScape also, that I always was I really like looking at the skill levels and seeing them being high numbers. That's the most dopamine inducing thing in games, I think.
Did you try to round them up?
Uh,
like when you're leveling up and trying to like, oh, I can't stop at 49, I have to level to 50, then I can start.
yeah, definitely. At least in RuneScape, I really love to have them all above 50 when I've started a new account there initially.
Sweet. I think I have to agree with y'all. One investment that Shampoo's sort of made in the last 2 days here is to let you know what you're unlocking when you level up. And I think that will be very satisfying for the players who are driven sort of by that level up dopamine. Just seeing all the new content you can do and items you can wear, etc. So that's very exciting. Next one, will the devs be expanding on the lore and continue to do world building after the launch?
Definitely. This is like the one of the parts we've had to kind of ignore for now, because we've been so busy with the basic mechanics of the game. But it's definitely something that I especially am very interested to do because I love stories and I love lore in games. That's like a big driver for me. So I'm very much looking forward to it, and we will be developing it a lot in the future, especially when we get the quest system added in. That's when we can start doing stories in the game and expanding the storyline. But also for other people who are more like story and lore driven, there are already small bits of it in the game, especially when you explore the world and so forth. You can kind of get an idea what's happening there just by paying a lot of attention to some things that you encounter.
Yeah, I agree that the lore and world building will get its focus when we get to the quest systems. Because I myself, I'm not that keen. I'm not a world builder, so I like that Shampoo loves the big picture stuff because then I can just work with the established information. I much prefer to work on like smaller scale. That's stories and dialogue and quests.
Yeah, Max Chill has done excellent job with the two choose your own adventures that we have completed on the Discord, and those are a pretty good direction on what kind of stuff we want to do with the quest system later on. In my mind, it's a lot better if game has fewer amount of quests, but that are of higher quality than they have a lot of quests that where the storylines are kind of non-existent. So what I like to focus on is making fewer quests that have like good stories that are well thought out and that are interesting to play than doing like 1 million hey get this item for me type of quests.
Yeah, what you could understand with simpler quests, we'll try to resolve in like a task system or something like that's not as text heavy, but still something that you can quickly do.
Yeah, exactly. Tasks are like what is this, like a billboard
Yeah.
style of quests, like what do you have, for instance, in Stardew Valley? Those kind of work for the good old boring fetch quests, but for quests I think our priority is that we have stuff with interesting stories.
All right. Yeah, thanks for the thoughts there on questing. The team's very excited to do lots of quests in the future. Shampoo, how many skill concepts do we currently have for the game?
I think our count for like the total amount of skills we're looking at when not taking in account the combat skills, at the moment we have concepts for around 15 or 16 skills, and that could increase later on. And then, of course, the combat system also will have its own skills, and also there's going to be the different like jobs or professions in the combat system, but they are sort of separate from normal skills. But yeah, there's going to be, I think, like full release should have around 15 skills in total.
Awesome. Okay, the last question I've seen is, do we have plans for any sort of like daily recap feature for WalkScape? Like, hey, yesterday you did this many steps and you did, you got these level ups or did this important thing.
Yeah, sure. That wouldn't be actually well, with the recent additions that I have added to the game, uh, not too hard to just expand it to do a recap also of what you have been achieving in the game. And I think that's a very good idea, like having this recap type of thing. We also got like alpha feedback from one of the alpha players that they would like to have sort of in-game log showing that what you have achieved, and you can like scroll that and see what has been happening. So either we go for the full log or we go with this kind of recap thing, or why not both?
Awesome. I think that's about it. Do we want to talk any about like the features that are hopefully going to be coming in the first few months, or do you want to leave that for the roadmap?
Yeah, well, I can mention a few. So first off, um, the things that will be coming are more multiplayer stuff in the very first month. So there is going to be the friend system. That's a high priority for us. Smartwatch support is also a high priority for us, but also it's a lot bit more difficult to do because it has its own complexities when it comes to abusing smartwatches. So that might take a little bit longer. And then we have I'd say those two are the biggest ones that, and yeah, achievements and consumables, the things that we needed to take out from the initial launch because they were not finished yet. So those will be coming quite soon after the release.
Cool. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of big picture ideas also going forward that players can expect, trading in the marketplace and cooperative events that the community can work towards together, I think are all sort of on the medium horizon. So definitely check out the roadmap when that's published to get an idea of everything that's planned. One question there, Shampoo, when is the localization expected to be available?
Oh yeah, this is also something that should come quite quickly after I get back from London. So everyone who isn't aware, we have this very non-ideal timing that I will be leaving to London at a convention to promote WalkScape on 21st of January, and I'm coming back at the 25th. So I'll probably get back to work on 26th. And this is one of the first things. It's already the localization system is pretty much worked out, but needs a little bit more work. But that's one of the first things I want to add. So the translators can also start to see their own texts and start improving those. And people who want to use localizations in the game can also start enjoying the game in their own language.
That's very exciting. I think a lot of the translator community, and of course, there's followers of WalkScape from all around the world now, will be very excited for that.
Yeah, can't wait to see the finished translation in WalkScape.
I'm sure that'll be quite strange for you in some ways.
Yeah, I never play any games in Finnish, but this one I will definitely do. It's always weird because, especially in Finnish, and I think this applies to many other languages, games not very often get translated, and there is not even kind of game-related terminology existing in those languages. So it's always interesting to see what the translators came up with.
Well, sweet. Any other closing thoughts for today from Max Chiller yourself?
I don't know. I'm ready for the release. I'm ready to post more memes on Discord and try to help Shampoo be on his track and save him from countless messages going his way.
That's actually a great point. Definitely don't message Shampoo, and you should not be able to now for the next few days. Reach out to Max Chill or myself for any issues you may be having if you supported the project before November 1st, 2023, and are having trouble getting your invitation for beta. Reach out to one of us two and leave a Shampoo to getting the game ready.
Yeah, we're protecting our snail wizard.
yeah. I've been pretty busy right now with the development, and it has been quite exhausting. So I had to disable Discord DMs for now. So definitely reach out to the other people who are involved. They will do this simple lists for me that, hey, here is the stuff you need to do with these users. So saves me the trouble and buys me more time to get the game ready. And yeah, my closing thoughts. I am this is also going to be covered in tomorrow's blog post in more detail. But I'm really grateful for all the people who have been helping us. Hexalize, Floor Shifter, the translation team, and all the alpha testers. It has been huge amount of work we've done, and a lot of it people have done just from the goodness of their hearts, and it means a lot a lot to me. So can't express enough my gratitude towards people helping us out.
Without the support team, we would probably be looking at even another delay of release, probably. So much love to them.
Yep. And overall, I'm super excited that we finally get to release the game, and super excited to see what how players will like it.
That's what I'm excited for. I'm looking forward to talking to everyone over the next few days, especially as Shampoo's in London, just about your experience in game and any ideas you have and feedback. I'll be closely paying attention to and writing down for when he's back. But thank you, everyone, for coming to the stream today, and thank you, Max Chill and Shampoo, for your time. As usual, just reach out on Discord if you have any other questions, or post on the portal or Reddit.
Yeah, try out Reddit.
We'll try to get to you.
I want to see some more memes.
We would love memes on Reddit. That's correct.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to all the memes on Reddit.
Oh, please don't post the cursed foot on the Reddit.
Please
Absolutely
post the
do not.
cursed foot.
Okay, I'm ending the stream. Thanks for hosting us, Floor, and everyone for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Yep, stay hydrated. Keep walking.